Hello, I'm Darren Reese from Nightmare Racing.
Hello, my name is Travis Reese and I race in the Division 7 Series.
Today we're going to talk about the driver compartment in the Junior Dragster. Okay, let's talk about some of the stuff in the driver compartment. Probably the most important thing is the seat belts. Now these seat belts are only good for 2 years. Matter of fact, there's an expiration date that comes on it. If you're building a car and you're starting from scratch and you're trying to figure this out, the seat belt's probably the last thing you want to buy, because if you buy it early, the clock's ticking on it. The other thing is, if you have a small child and the small child can't see out, it's very important that whatever you use to shim them up, that they could see, it has to be something firm. Now what we did was we made these cushions from SFI foam, similar to what's on the roll bar here. Now I bought flat sheets of it from Pegasus Racing, and we put it in 1-inch sheets. We put 4 stacks on there. That way as the child grows, we can start pulling them off. Mistake I see at the track? Like a pillow off their bed or something like that. Problem with running something soft like a pillow is if they actually get into an accident and they crash, there's an impact, the pillow compresses and all the seat belts are loose. We don't want anybody ejected from the car. Okay, the other thing is that the seat belts have to fit properly. Once you're using a neck restraint system, a hybrid maybe, something like that, some of the cars have the seat belts mounted in the center, and that creates an issue where it goes around the neck restraint systems. So maybe spreading the belts across is a better fit. The other thing is the height of the seat belts are important. It's either supposed to be at the shoulder or 4 inches below. Now check your local rules and make sure that that's correct in your area. Seat belts for the waist. The waist belts are designed to go over your hip bones. Some of these cars are made for larger kids. It's difficult for a car manufacturer to make a seat belt that's going to fit somebody that's 6 foot and also maybe a 5-year-old. So for a smaller child, the waist belt tends to go across the legs and not the hip. So it may be important to relocate that. You got a submarine belt. We have wrist restraints. This netting right here, it's very important that this goes over the legs. On my driver, I've got pedals here, so this is the leg area. This is the furthest that I could move it towards the driver without interfering with the steering. The car goes upside down, this is going to keep their feet inside the car. They've got an emergency shut-off lever, and this is how they're firing the car, or excuse me, shutting the car off. If that doesn't work, then they hit the emergency. Okay, we've got seat shim, seat belts. We're ready to put a driver in here. Okay, so we got Travis in the car. Now these shoulder harnesses, these need to be tight. I know you want your child to be comfortable, but this isn't about being comfortable. I mean, they're only in the car for 8.9 seconds. They can be tight. We don't want to make sure that if there's any kind of a collision or anything like that, that it's as tight as possible. Now, it has to go over the neck restraint system right here, and we want to make sure that we keep the release straps clear. The other thing that we got going here is we use the style where the wrist restraints are Velcroed, and the hook is turned away from the steering wheel. We'll put the steering wheel on here. Now make sure it's hooked, and then we give it a good tug. Okay, try to lift your arms up. Okay, so if the car were to go over on its side, start to barrel roll or anything like that, his hands can't come out of the cockpit area. He's in there. Now we got the body off so that you guys can see what we're doing here. Get a clear picture. We got a leg restraint, keeping the legs in. I think that does it for today's tech tip.